Gentlemen, you want to turn it on, honey? Last time we didn't get it on.
I got my backup machine.
Thank you, Rhonda.
She's a sweetie.
Let us know when you got it. Hey. Got it? Huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. The hour is at hand. I call this meeting to order. And I'm going to ask Councilman Griffin if he will give the invocation for us.
Let us pray. Our God and Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Thank you for the many blessings you bestowed upon us. We ask that you look down on this meeting, taking us to our due diligence, and making decisions for the city of Hazlehurst. Bless all of our soldiers, the ones on the battlefield, the ones stateside, and bless our country, Lord. All these things we ask in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. With reference to approving the agenda, gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to include an item 12A. I got 12, I want you to put 12A, and it'll have to do with clerk's training in Athens, September the 11th through the 13th. With that insertion, I ask for a motion.
Can I ask?
Sure.
Wait a minute, I'm going to have to think, let me do this. There was some in the minutes, I noticed that,
Want to leave something off?
that we tabled. If we tabled it, we have to bring it up again the next meeting. I think it had to do maybe with that, no, I know what it was. I know what it was. We talked about upkeep of the historical museum's grounds.
Yes.
And we talked about, said, well, maybe we need to talk with the county, see if we can share it. So we voted to table it. So it's tabled to this meeting, and I think we need to bring it up.
Okay, let's include an item 12A and 12B. 12A will be clerk's training in Athens, and 12B will be the maintenance of the historical museum grounds. Is that correct, Don?
That's good. That's good.
Okay, with those two items inserted, as 12A and 12B, I entertain a motion that we approve the agenda.
So moved.
Probably move that we approve the agenda as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So the motion is carried. The agenda is approved, those two additions. What about the minutes? Everybody have a chance to read the minutes? We've got two
I have
sets.
one thing.
Okay. Let's
Just, and this is probably my fault, I probably didn't make myself clear, but we talked about that, the bid we got on the survey for the cemetery,
Mhm.
and it says in minutes, I said I would contact, what's his name?
Craig Barstad.
Craig Barstead, but I may have said that, but that wasn't what I meant. What I meant was, will someone contact him?
Well, let me tell
So
you what.
I'm just telling you that because I didn't contact him. I thought someone
Well,
else.
you notice it's not on the agenda either.
Okay, well,
We had quite a discussion with Jeff and all, and we'll bring that up in the
it
next
was
work
probably
session.
my fault, I just didn't.
We'll bring that up in the next work session.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we've approved the agenda as amended, and if you will, you can run into those minutes and make that correction, can't you? Ms. Bernice will make that correction for you, and then we are going to bring that up at a work session. All right, got that taken care of.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. As presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that including both now?
Yep.
All right. Motion made, second, to approve the minutes, both sessions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Minutes are approved, thank you. Okay, gentlemen, you've got an insert about the 130-something thousand estimate for the 150,000 gallon water tank over on Gill Street. We are quite pleased with the possibility of having 150,000 more gallons of water there over there for $133,100, and we've got it back on the agenda. Is any further discussion about it? I'm entertaining someone to make a motion. I think we need to do that and do this right away. The water and sewer fund is such that we can accomplish this 130,000. put 150,000 more gallons of water in the air, and I think we ought to move on it pretty quick.
I'll make a motion, but let me ask one question. Now, Charles, you say you use
Yes, sir.
extra water, and Bland, you're in favor?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we proceed with refurbishing that water tank.
I think.
Motion's been made and seconded that we proceed with the bid to UTV Utilivision Inc. for $133,100 to refurbish the Gill Street water tank. Is there a second? I believe, Glenn, you seconded it, didn't you?
Yes.
The motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? No discussion at all. I entertain a motion. I vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried unanimous. I think that's a good move, gentlemen. And I'm glad to know that we're getting another 150,000 gallons of water up there. Mr. Wasman has convinced me that we need it.
Yes, sir.
I think that's a good move. Okay, the next item, appoint City of Hazlehurst Engineer Hofstadter Associates. Whose item is this?
That's mine.
Okay,
We have not, and this is my take on everything. Hofstadter has been with us for years and everything else. Jeff and Bland, they have good results with them as far as being able to take and have a good rapport with them, being able to get what they need from them on any projects we have, as far as we call, they're here, whatever else. Their longevity to service to the city, and the fact that they do help us out in any of our engineering aspects we've had and everything so far, I feel that we need to take and appoint them as the engineers for the city of Hazlehurst for all projects and to advise us on all projects for any engineering for the city of Hazlehurst. And I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
there's a motion on the floor, gentlemen, to appoint Hofstadter and Associates as the engineer for what period of time? For the balance of this year?
The balance of this year we'll do, then what we would do is do the same in January once again and everything, as we do with the city attorney and everything else. And I feel like we need to do that. That's my opinion there. Again, please the council.
All right, we got a motion on the floor. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded on the floor to appoint Hofstadter Associates as the engineer. Council, I'm going to, I too think a lot of Carl and his boys, and particularly Kevin Seagrave. We're in the process of looking at some work now, and I talked to Carl about also bidding on the location of water and sewer lines and whatnot. I had a real startling thing that come across my desk this week, that with our T-Splosh fund, we haven't even started the tier 2, and some $20-something thousand has been billed by Hofstadter for that. I called the state and they said they could have done it for $6,000. And so at any rate, to make a long story short, we got a motion floor, we're gonna handle it properly. But I would like to bring this up in a work session, and let's discuss this a little further before we proceed on that. It's my suggestion to the council. However, we got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion relative to the motion on the floor?
I'm not in favor of doing that with Hofstadter.
Okay. I'm gonna vote right now against it too. Is there anybody else?
I think we need to bring it up in a work session and let us talk about it. Carl has been our engineer. I always thought he was an engineer, you know. And if we're gonna be hiring him to do this, I wanna make sure that we ain't gonna incur no more expense. That we just need to talk about it.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, all in favor of handling this motion tonight, raise your right hand.
Of handling the or approving the motion?
Approve the motion.
Approving the motion, yeah, I'm in favor.
I got 2 in favor, all opposed? Motion fails, we'll take it up in a work session.
I think that when we do, we need to have Carl here to talk to him.
Yeah.
won't be any misunderstanding.
No problem.
Okay, item number 6. Chief Land, you want to discuss the four-way stop that we brought up in work session now?
I just asked the council to consider 2 four-way stops. And y'all instructed me to talk to the school. I went to talk to the safety officer at the school today. That's the county school, Mr. Stone. That's what he-
Oh, yeah.
That's what he does. And he said anything to slow traffic down around that school, that he would be in favor of. He did bring up one thing that we had already thought about is on Pat Dixon Road, as you're coming into town toward the old Board of Education, there's a turn lane. You know, the left-hand turn lane, or right-hand turn lane, that is. Street widens, and that would have to be some additional markings and pavement markings and some things done at that intersection besides putting up a four-way stop on Charles Rogers. So, just to consider that. As far as the four-way stop on Jefferson Street, we would need to put some signs on out in both directions, warning people four-way stop ahead, not just put up stop signs at that intersection. But we need to back out, put some.
Towards Snipesville on that curve,
Both directions, yes.
to try to get the rest to it, yeah.
Yeah,
All forward. All forward.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did talk to Mr. Stone today at length about it, and he said anything we could do to slow traffic down would be, he feels would be a safety improvement.
But right now, you're talking about 2 locations.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But will you have a light, you know,
Caution light?
light there?
No.
No?
Unless he wants to spend the money.
How much do a caution light along with the
No
four-way
idea.
stop?
He might have some idea about it.
It's
I
on
know
the
I-
roads too, because we have to pay for the electricity.
The other option is we can put, and they're a little expensive, but you can put the sign, the warning light on the side of the road, the flashing yellow light with the solar recharger on it. You know, there's one going out Perkins Ferry, not Perkins Ferry, Jefferson Street toward Collins Street. The school had put up when they did the new school out there.
How many of those do you have, Steve?
We don't have any.
Those little portable ones that I see around about? Those flashing signs and caution signs, you don't have any? Okay. Let me ask you this, since it is in primarily for school traffic, is it possible that once we get them painted and fixed and the signs up and all, we could still man them for a few days?
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Man them for maybe a month or so to try to get everybody accustomed that it is a stop sign there?
Certainly. I think would need to actually put the signs up, maybe run it in the paper a couple of weeks. Have an officer out there to begin with, the first week or so, definitely, during school traffic.
Four-way stop. How long does it take you to get those signs in, Jeff? Four-way stop.
Usually about 2 weeks.
Are they still made over in Reedsville?
Yes.
No, you also take and order one of the caution signs like the chief
Stop
talked.
ahead sign.
Stop ahead, well, I mean, a stop ahead with a flashing light. I mean, because I'm gonna be honest with you, if we're gonna do it over on Jefferson and, Bell there, where the intersection, whatever, we definitely need to put one out the Broxton Highway for sure, because, I mean,
They
people,
can go down the curve 70 miles
they
an
can be
hour.
hauling the mail.
I think that would be a good thing to do.
I've got some brochures that's got that stuff in it, and price wise.
Because that's gonna be a definite, got to have, that ain't a if, ain't a
Yes,
but.
right.
All right, I think maybe, I think the council is ready to approve, but basically.
I got a question.
Well, okay, but here's what I was gonna say about it too. Let's make sure that we only handle one intersection at a time. Let's don't get both of them done at the same time, because let's get one and then a month later do the next one. Okay, go ahead, Tom.
Steve, as you know, I don't know anything about traffic control, but would it be possible, at least for the, you know, you were talking about putting a patrolman in there, but it seems like in my mind, I've seen where they have a stop sign, not only on the side, but they have one in the middle of the intersection. Is that a viable?
Actually,
viable-
on Kersey Street, where we just put up some four-way stops,
Y'all did that?
we put cones out for several weeks, and then somebody just ran over and drug them all the way down the road. But yes, we could, yes, that wouldn't be a problem.
I just think a stop sign in the middle of the road, you know, in the middle of the intersection. But again, that may be more dangerous than it is. I just don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my only comment.
I certainly agree, we would need to do all the safety.
Yeah, especially on the Jefferson.
And could you assure us too that you'll just do one month and one the next, don't do both of them at one time?
Oh, I had planned on doing both of them at the same time, but I
Okay.
think the priority intersection is gonna be on Jefferson. That's where we've had fatalities, that's where we've had serious.
Start with
serious
Jefferson
deaths.
and then go over to,
Yeah.
Collins and.
yeah.
But I think we need to get all the signs, and if we're gonna put LEDs, solar sign up, let's get everything together first. And get it ready.
Any further discussion or questions relative to this matter, gentlemen?
Would that involve these, things on the highway, you know, the bumpers, let them know they're coming up to that?
That's something that.
You can get a temporary
Can you
big
do that?
sign like all the contractors have, that you can put out, say, 100 yards before that top head. And then they just won't leave it around the street.
You could
Yeah,
put rumble strips there, that would certainly
that
be good.
you need some.
Okay, we know sort of the situation, gentlemen. I think he's told us where he needs it and how it's to be done. He's gonna stagger the, installation so that you don't have all the areas with this big change at one time. I think we understand the process that, he, together with Jeff, in order to get all the signs and things in that we need. I entertain a motion that we proceed with this project as it's been described.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Griffin's made the motion that we proceed with the project. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Purser. Is there any further discussion relative to this project?
I just want to mention that I know that there are going to be some people aggravated about it, especially on the
Sniceville Highway.
the Snipeville Highway, but we've already had one death there, and we've had injuries there, we've had accidents there, and we're talking about public safety.
Yes.
The inconvenience is secondary to public safety.
Any further discussion relative to the matter? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none is unanimous. Carried.
Thank y'all, thank y'all very much.
All right, now then, we're at, Councilman Bloodworth, your street light at Battle and Tucker residence. You ready to say anything about that? You just want to make a motion?
Make a motion.
Make a motion that what?
There'll be a street light put up past the Battle residence on Rogers.
Okay, is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Purser. Any further discussion relative to this light? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried unanimous. Okay, this is something that I've sort of cooked up. I hope all of you have got these figures in front of you.
Is this what you're talking
That's
about?
the sheet, yeah.
Do we have any extra of those?
It's another sheet.
I wanted Mary Ann to have one.
Mary Ann.
Mary Ann. And I'm sure Rhonda would like one.
Never had two men fighting over me.
You almost had a third.
Right about had an accident.
If anyone else wants one.
Got some
we
more
got
up here if
extra
anybody else
copies.
wants a copy. Okay, gentlemen, the general fund, as you know, is in a short cash situation. And most of all, hate to incur, I wish that we could provide all these services absolutely free to our citizens. And I realize that to some degree, anytime you pass on any cost to our citizens, in some cases, it's a real burden. And I'm trying, I can assure you, I haven't got it, I've talked to some people that are trying to make something official about a benevolent fund, and I think it will be abused too much. You have too many people coming up and trying to take advantage of it, but I am in the process of working out a benevolent fund for hardships that may come up relative to this matter, and I'm going to try to handle it in a very humane and honorable method. But I have had the staff to work with these figures, changing the garbage fee from $11 to $15 per month, and the trash to change it from $3 to $5 a month. And last week, we had a little error. I want to apologize. We gave you some figures that was a little bit wrong, but this week we have all put our heads together, Bland and Lori and me and Ms. Bernice and all of us, Kim and even Tammy to some extent, looking at this. But we feel like we've got a very accurate picture in front of you, showing that with those two increases, we can increase our revenue in the general fund by $132,000, that's the bottom figure down there, $132,611.64. With the expenses that we've taken on and the costs and circumstances that we're in, I think this is a reasonable method of trying to improve our cash situation, and I'm recommending to the council that we do this. I entertain a motion to this order.
I'll make a motion, we approve the increase on garbage and trash as written to us, given to the council.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Is there a second to this motion?
A second.
Seconded by Mr. Purser. Is there any further discussion relative to this matter?
Yeah, never mind, here it is. Mary Ann, would you come get this, please? No, I'll bring it to you. I just want to make sure Mary Ann understands. Well, I only have one copy, so y'all can share it.
What is that, Tommy?
That's the showing where we're losing money.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
okay,
handing that out there, I feel like this is the service we provide to the citizens, but we need to at least break even. We're not trying to make money off of that, and Jeff has done a number of studies over the years, and we're one of the cheapest ones around. So I don't want anybody to think we're gouging the citizens. We're losing money on it.
And with this too, I can tell you, Ms. Bernice, I had her call and poll a number of our neighbors, and even this won't put us up to our neighbors. We've got some neighbors that you'd be shocked how much more they're charging even than this. But at any rate, we feel like that this, together with some other sources of increased revenue and efficiencies, that we can get our financial position with the general fund in a very respectable position, and this will help us do that. So we got a motion and a second on the floor. Let me hush. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, there was something else in and I found this real interesting. Bernice told me that she told, was it 13 municipalities or 11?
11.
11? And every one of them was handled by private?
No.
Not every, but most of them handled by private.
Yes.
All but one.
And they were so much more expensive than what we're doing by handling it in-house. So we're really doing the citizens a favor by handling it in-house. And
they're elected officials for handling and administering instead of some private industry coming in. Yeah. That's another good point, Tommy. Thank you for bringing that out. Any further discussion relative to this matter? Okay, I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. I'll tell you what, we're a fine working bunch of people. I want some stars on Joe. Okay, let's move on. Mr. Attorney?
All right, this is
Joe time.
this is the second and final reading of the Hazlehurst Cemetery Ordinance, which has been out there several months in draft, and then we did the first reading last regular.
Let me interrupt you a minute,
Yes,
please,
sir.
if you don't mind. This will help you, I think. Councilman Bloodwood, do you want to discuss your concern relative to a matter before the attorney goes any further with this?
Yes, sir, it was in section 340 under the memorials and decorations.
what now?
340.
Okay. Which paragraph?
I'm trying to find it.
I think you're talking about 3-43 under the
It may be
resolutions.
343. Yes, 343, I'm sorry.
Item C. And D.
Yes, C and D.
343, yeah.
You know, people like to put little angels, I mean,
I
I
do,
think one,
I'm sorry. I actually looked at the former cemetery ordinance, Jeff and I did. This verbiage has been in there since the origination of the original cemetery ordinance. And Jeff, he told me that at one point in time, with the former clerk and former employees of the city, they actually went out to grave sites and began removing this stuff. And he had been threatened with his life. So that verbiage has been in the ordinance. It has not been enforced, even from the original ordinance. So that, I think, was kind of carried over. But he says that he's not gonna go out there and he's not gonna remove this stuff because he values his life that much.
I think the purpose of it is, when we glean from a bunch of standard ordinances throughout the state, and the purpose is, if everybody did it, it'd look like a yard sale out there.
sure.
You know,
My
it's to
my
be
parents,
consistent.
my parents, one of them buried in Scriven County and the other was buried in Charlotte, North Carolina. They don't allow any of that stuff because of the maintenance. It's just so much easier to go out and maintain if you run a lawnmower over it and all this. Of course, they have, you know, they don't have the big, so that, you know, it's a little different.
I mean, and then if one of our employees happens to damage something that's there, then we get the, you broke this, you need to replace this, and whatever. That's where I look at it.
Yes, sir.
We used to get a lot of calls about the city damaging figurines. Some of them were ceramic, they weren't stone. And Jeff's people do the best they can. We had a lot of theft of items from one grave to another. The little lights and they would take caps and clothing and shoes and all kinds of decorations to put on the scene. It was just a nightmare about theft. So that was the idea behind restricting what we put out there. The same thing goes with the benches. A lot of people want to put bench. Well, if it's got coping around it and rocks, I don't think the city maintains inside of that. But if there's not coping and they've got a bench there, then Jeff's people have trouble maintaining, cutting grass around it. So that was another issue that came up.
They pretty much weed eat around all that.
Yeah.
Mowers don't get near them.
Proceed, I was just asking.
Well, let me ask you, the one on the, is the Palms Memorial?
Number six,
Private
Iowa.
held? Yeah.
That's probably,
You're a private now,
They don't allow.
they don't allow all that stuff, do they?
And all this,
I think so.
all the markers are flat.
Flat, right.
They're allowed that one base that's built into the monument
Right.
itself there.
And when they go to
When
maintain
they
it,
go
they
to maintain
put
it, they take the
base.
base up.
Right.
Mr. Bloodworth, are you satisfied?
I am.
You satisfied that you've been slaughtered?
I am.
Well, John, in your defense, you had to see some of the stuff that we've had to put up with over the years. Really, it's been-
Hey, I understand.
Hand me your towel and mop the blood, he'll be right.
I'll proceed to the second reading. An ordinance to protect the public health, safety, and general welfare by establishing regulations relating to the operation, control, and management of cemeteries owned by the city of Hazlehurst, Georgia, to provide penalties for the violation of said ordinance and to repeal all ordinances as well as any amendments that may have been made a part of any previous ordinance. That's the second reading.
Okay, we're ready for a vote now, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, the process has been properly handled with first and second reading, and it's ready for adoption. I entertain a motion that we adopt the ordinance presented by the attorney relative to cemeteries. Mr. Griffin's made the motion that we adopt the ordinance. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion relative to the cemetery ordinance?
As a moment of levity, when John said first he said it was 340, it reminded me that no mausoleum or can be higher than 10 feet or something like that. And I was, oh no, mausoleum, yeah, see, and I was planning on building me one about 20 feet.
Well, I figured John was gonna build one like that.
Okay, All right, so much for that, and I think at all times we need to approach our job with enthusiasm and pleasant circumstances. There's nothing wrong with that. After such, we're ready to vote on adopting the ordinance. All in favor, raise your right hand.
I can't read them.
That's it.
I'm sorry.
And the mic don't pick up raising hands.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All right, it is unanimous. The resolution is adopted. Thank you, Mr. Attorney. All right, let's proceed. We're doing good here. Okay, Ms. Bernice, you were absent last week, and I even asked Rhonda if she knew anything about this thing. And Rhonda, nobody here knew a clean word about it. So
I'll just start sending you the emails. Okay, when I was first hired as city clerk, I had a visit from Greg Hudgens about a waiting list for LED lighting that most of the cities in the state of Georgia are going to. They are now to a point that they're actually ahead of their schedule. We were not on the schedule until December. This is showing the average monthly cost per fixture before fuel reduction, after fuel reduction, and for the new LED replacements on the first page. The next one is the LED roadway lights authorization that we currently have. And this is an average, and I actually looked at a bill that came in on all of our lights today. The bill that we have due at this point in time is over $8,000, okay, on lights for these streets. With the new lighting is going to be your third page, which shows us a figure of $7,200.02. If you compare that to the figure we currently pay of $6,958.01, there's $200 to $300 worth of difference. The last one is frequently asked questions, and if you had the opportunity to read that, it goes into more detail about the actual lighting. Do they change out the fixtures at one time? What type thing is involved with this thing? And on the very last page, excuse me, when it talks about the LED lighting, there's benefits of the LED lighting. The number one thing that caught my eye about this was what are network lighting controls. The answer to that question states, each LED roadway fixture has a networked lighting control installed. Features of the network lighting control include turn on at dusk, turn off at dawn, metering of energy consumption, remote monitoring and diagnostics, GPS location, fixture data, dimming and scheduling. That means that if a light goes out, they do not have to call someone to come to that light and physically work on that light. They can remotely access it, work with it. If it needs to be changed out, they schedule someone to come. But they can remotely access it instead of having someone come out and physically do this.
Can I interrupt you here now?
Sure.
Are you telling us too that we actually don't have a choice, this is going to happen, this is how much it's going to cost us?
If we don't go with it this year, yes, eventually it is.
That in a nutshell.
It's happening.
It's happening. Even now, I'm bad with them about the old, what do you call them? The old light bulb, incandescent type bulb that you can't get. I've got some fixtures that I've got to change in my house because of that. But at any rate, the cases before us, do we need to make any kind of action on this?
If you decide to, if this is what the council,
In other words, we can go ahead and approve it and
and I've got to send the paperwork in, and they will begin.
So I think, gentlemen, and we all know this is coming and it's going to cost us an X, around what is it, $500, y'all? $300 more. It's coming, and another thing more we can do about it. I entertain a motion that we have Ms. Bernice tell him to put us on the agenda and get us fixed.
Make a motion.
Mr. Bloodworth made a motion that we proceed with this. Mr. Johnson has seconded it. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. All right. Okay, Mr. Cody, you want to reinstate your projects with the airport that you want to handle?
Well, this is just asking for the city council to approve spraying the airport with a helicopter. Mr. Doug Paget has given us a proposal of, I believe last week I said it was like $9,720 for spraying inside the fence up to where I mow the grass. Anywhere I mow, he's not gonna spray, but everything outside of that, he'll spray.
Ms. Bernice, I apologize for this, but you have, you know approximately what's in our airport splash fund?
Last time I checked, it was right at $115,000 in airport
I
cost.
believe it's 111, but I'm not sure.
Yes, sir.
It's a little over 100,000. He's asking to spend 9,000, and how much?
$9,720.
For spraying, and it's not quite time for it, but I know the man, he knows when.
Yeah, he's going to get it on the books, and whenever he sees fit, he'll come spray it.
Anything else you want to say about it?
That's all.
Gentlemen, you've got the proposal ahead of you. I entertain a motion relative to Mr. White's suggestion.
Make a motion.
Mr. Bloodworth made a motion that we authorize Mr. White to proceed with getting the airport sprayed. Seconded by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion?
Are we okay spending, for, splash fund for maintenance?
Absolutely.
I thought it was for capital improvements. Mr. Attorney? I'd like you to just be checked first. I'll vote in favor of it as long as the attorney approves it.
Well, now we, approve it for God's sake. For God's sake, approve it, because we've already made mistakes like this before.
I really think we're gonna be in trouble with that. That's just my opinion, but that's okay as long as we blame it on the attorney, we'll go.
Whoa.
Hey,
What was the motion?
let me tell you this. Little Miss Haley, our auditor, she is up to date on it. Let me tell you, I've discussed several things with her. And we're gonna ask you to see that we're clear, but I'm gonna check with her too. All right,
You can approve it conditionally.
That's,
okay,
Would
let's
you
see.
amend your
Would
motion?
somebody give me an amended motion?
would you amend your motion to say it's?
Yes, I'll make a motion to amend it.
Okay, is there a second to the amendment? All in favor of amending the motion to voting on this contingent upon it being qualified for SPLOST funds? What if it's not? We still got to have it done.
You'll have to pay it out of general fund. It's a good project. It needs to be done. You know,
We didn't say we was gonna pay it out of SPLOST. I made that statement. I mean, maybe
I know, but what I'm saying is, let's cross this bridge and then later, I agree with Cody. It's a good project. It needs.
It's gotta be
we can
done.
Find the general funds to do it. We need to do it.
I don't know whether we need to wait till September though we're getting close to the time that this needs to be done now. Or sometime in October,
So
so.
what do you say, $9,000?
Yes.
I think we can fly that. Can we, I hate to amend that motion again.
Let's just see about splashing. If we can use that there, we'll do it, but if not, we'll.
Will he spray before September?
No, he probably won't, but he certainly
Probably
needs to
not,
know.
but
But he needs to get it,
he needs to know.
he needs to get
Well,
booked.
tell him we're 100% in favor of it. We just gotta figure out how to pay for it. See what I'm saying?
No, don't tell him that.
We'll get a handle.
What's the motion?
The motion is that we authorize Mr. White to proceed with to proceed with spraying the foliage at the airport contingent upon it being available to be paid for through SPLOST. That's the motion that's on the floor. All in favor? Any further discussion? We'll correct this one day. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Cody, we'll figure it out, son. Mr. Attorney, we're counting on you too.
I just read the law.
And this, remember, we've got something that's already been done. So if it's wrong, you tell us how we're gonna correct what's been done too. We may have to pay the blue money back. Hey, I don't think so. I think it's, where are we now? I'm so blooming confused.
Number 12, Wire Welder.
12, okay, yeah, Charles? Tell them what you want. Well, we don't, we times of the essence here. He brought all this before, spoke before. You ready to entertain a motion that we authorize Mr. Wasden to proceed with the wire welder purchase?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Eriks made the motion that he proceed with the wire welder purchase. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Item 12A.
Thank y'all.
Clerk's training in Athens, September the 11th through the 13th. This is required training that Ms. Bernice is trying to, as soon as she can, get all of her requirements under her shirt, so to speak, and which she needs to do this. I entertain a motion. We approve the training for Ms. Bernice Lopez.
Make a motion.
Mr. Blow made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? Call for vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is unanimous. 12B, Mr. Purser, explain.
I'd just like the motion that, there was some discussion that we made. Can we just authorize Jeff Jones to talk with the county's maintenance guy, Jerry Johnston, and work out a schedule for us and the county together, keeping up the grounds of the museum? Is that okay? If every other month, 3 months at a time, 3 months at a time, whatever y'all come up with.
I would like, Tommy, that little yard is so small, and we come by there with the man that we've got on that thing and the amount of time that's there, he won't be in there 15 minutes. And the county is, for them to load it on a truck and come there, our mowers is going to be in the vicinity right there, in and out and gone. I would appreciate it,
That's
gentlemen.
fine with me.
I can go over and cut it, the time Jerry drives that lawnmower over there.
Yeah, I don't think we'll.
I'll make a motion that we cut the grass and maintain the grounds at the museum at no charge to the museum.
Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's unanimous. All right, we've got 12A and B handled. Now we're at 13. All this is just, you've got the report before you. Any questions about the water and sewer revenue report? Hearing none, I go to the next one. Water and sewer adjustments. What was the amount? I don't have it in front of me. Somebody look at it.
Adjustments, around $740.
$740 something dollars worth of adjustment. Ms. Lori does a good thing. Y'all, let me tell you something. Lori's a hard driver to try to make sure this money is invoiced and in here and whatnot, and sometimes Lori may be a little bit too hard. But she tries to work with people where you have unusual damages, where pipes are burst, and where it's legitimate loss, and I commend her on handling that pretty well. And she's not going to put anything in front of you. She's going to scrutinize it pretty well before you see it. So you've seen that. Is there any questions about it? And then I assume it's approved. You've looked at the check register. Any questions about any of the expenditures? Any question about any of the expenditures? I assume you approve the check register. All right. The Fall Festival who knows about the Fall Festival, October the 31st? You do?
Yes.
Okay.
This is our annual downtown event. We are trying to promote it earlier this year in order to get more participation. We will close Odom Street from Tallahassee down to William Street and encourage vendors, churches to set up in that area. This will eliminate children being out in neighborhoods, trick-or-treating, and try to handle this right in that location. We've been doing it for several years. We just get approval from the council to close that street for that event. We're trying to promote it earlier this year.
Okay, I think we need a motion on that to approve the Fall Festival and the relative necessary items to handling it. Do I entertain a motion for that?
Make a motion.
Mr. Blubber's made a motion that we approve the Fall Festival October 31st and the chief's necessary processes for handling it. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Johnson. Any further discussion relative to this event? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's carried.
Thank you.
Citizens' comments, anybody? Hearing none. Council, any comments, discussions? I have some. Mr. Attorney. We've got our biggest airport user, Beasley Forest Products, wanting a suitable place to keep some very expensive aircraft at the airport. They first were going to lease a segment of land from the airport, a 100-year lease or some kind of thing. We've dealt with those before, as you well know. But now we found that the city can get a grant for about half of the cost of constructing that airport hangar for those people, according to their plans. They've even brought us the plans and showed us how they want it done. We can get about half of that, approximately now, it's not exactly, but approximately half of that money as a grant, and lease that to them, and in about, I'd say 7 years, 7 to 10 years, that thing will be paid for and then be a source of revenue for the airport for years to come. And I sort of think that at some point we need to do that. But the trees and the approach zone out there are a holdback. Cody, help me. There's 2 or 3 items now that we've got to get, but we can't move on any of that. We can't do
The
anything.
number one thing is to get the trees out of the approach zone right now. To a 34-to-1 approach zone.
Are they within the flight easement?
Yes. Oh, yes, they're right.
And what's the problem? The owners of,
Well, we're trying to get, we're in the process of getting owner contacted.
okay. Well, you know, we had that before, and
Right.
some of the recalcitrant ones, I had to write a letter, so
Right.
I'll work with you, whatever we need to do. I mean,
Well, we've got all that done. They've explained what all's been done, Cody.
As far as.
They've located every tree,
Yeah,
where
all
it
the
is.
trees are located, and I have a list of the landowners. And Natasha has that.
Okay.
And we need to expediently move with that now because we've got, in fact, there's another thing or two that the airport authority is wanting to move on relative to our taxiway of some things there that needs to go into the works. And neither that nor getting the money for the hike, and everything it's a standstill until we get that done.
Well, I mean, if you identify the trees there in the flight path, you can go cut them. I reckon what we're doing is contacting them to let them know we're coming.
Yeah, but at the same time, every one of those landowners, we don't have easements on their property.
Well, that's what I was asking. If you
Yeah.
don't have easements, then
Right.
that's a different story.
Yeah.
So,
Flight easements is not the same as going in there to cut them.
your flight easement dictates the height of the tree. Now, what I'm hearing you say, you're talking about an area that's not in a flight easement, you're trying to get a flight.
No,
easement.
Well, it's in these trees are in the flight zone.
Yeah.
What they're
it's-
What are
called.
they-
But at the same time, the airport or the city has no easements to go on the landowner's property to cut these trees.
Well, there's a difference between flight zone and flight easement. You're saying they're within the approach, but there's no document that gives anybody the right to cut the trees.
But we
Is that
have,
right?
but here's the thing that we've got, Mr. Attorney. You know that so many of the blooming houses were built after the airport zone was put there and all?
Well, here's the issue. When the airport was built, they made flight easements.
Right.
And whoever's in that subject to it, if that flight glide path or whatever has changed and you need to expand the easements,
That's part of the problem.
well, you're in a whole different ballgame.
Right.
I mean, you're in negotiating to get somebody, see if they give it to you, if they won't, then you're looking at condemnation, and that's not a quick process.
I
Oh,
don't think it's gonna end up that.
but now, listen, the angle of the approach is the same, the extended portion you're talking about, and we don't have any problem there.
Right.
So everything, everywhere we got a problem is within the original flight zone of that airport.
Then what's the problem? Go cut the trees.
Well, will you get load your gun and go with us?
Huh? That's what my job, you got it right. I mean, are some of the property owners objecting, not recognizing these?
They haven't been contacted all the way.
Okay.
We're in the process of doing that.
Okay.
Who contacts?
I have, Natasha's getting a letter together.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll get moving forward with it.
Well, we need to expedite, that's the reason I brought it up. I know that I'm told, and the Upward Authority was told, that we can't, our hands are tied till we get this done. Absolutely tied. We can't move on anything till this is taken care of. Cody, what do you think, based upon where you know, you living with it every day, if we get everybody notified, tell them we're coming and get out there and start doing the work, how long is it gonna take us to get, now the other end, the other approach is okay, right? We don't have any problem there.
You're right now.
Well, it will, I guess at some time, it'll, but we've only got one landowner down there now.
Right.
Well, one landowner on the other end, but we've got a number here. How many different landowners is involved?
Like it's 13.
13 different landowners. But we need to, okay, assuming he's notified them now, is that your responsibility, or do you handle that?
If I'm told to, yeah, I will, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I reckon I need to get with Cody and we need to pick a date and say, after this date, we're coming. To give him time to say if they object, see how we deal with them.
Right.
Okay, assuming he does that, everybody's notified. Didn't Ragland, because he's dead now, didn't Ragland do that for us last time?
Possibly. I can't remember.
They still got operation.
Yeah, they still operate. At the same time, on some of these pieces of property, you're not gonna be able to just take a crew in there.
If they around houses and all,
Yeah,
you need
you're
to
gonna
specialize.
have a tree surgeon in several of these spots.
Okay, all right.
You're talking, I estimate at least 100 trees.
Okay, and how many of the 100, estimate again, I know this is off the cuff, how many is going to require tree surgeons to go take the tree down?
I would say at least half.
50 of them. Woo. Okay, is this squash? Hey, well, how long do you think it'll take if everybody's notified we can get somebody to get this done? Well, this needs to be done.
I'm not sure.
Can we do it in 60 days, 90 days?
I'd say it'd take at least 2 or 3 months to do it.
Okay, and then before we can even move, see, we need to be moving on that hangar particularly because they're calling me every day wanting to know if we've done anything about where it's gonna be, and that those airplanes are out there with water and rust and everything else getting on, they're not pleased with it, and I can understand that. So we need to move as expediently as we can to get that done, and particularly start moving on the hangar for those folks. Okay, I just wanted to.
That's fine,
Yeah.
no problem.
Okay, anybody else got anything?
I just want to put something out there, just, this is just food for thought, it's way down the road, but it's only 3 years down the road. City of Hazlehurst is coming up on their sesquicentennial,
Yep.
and that ain't 3 years down the road, 150-year mark. We need to take and start putting some thought into that. I realize it's 3 years, but 3 years is not that long when you're thinking about this. Just food for thought.
Well, now let's see, this is the city of Hazlehurst, now.
City of Hazlehurst.
Not Jeff Davis County, city of Hazlehurst.
Hazlehurst.
All right, then I think it behooves us to perhaps work and get us a committee that would, somebody that would chair the committee and begin planning it so that it becomes a good affair. Okay, I'll tell you what, let's do then, if it suits y'all okay. Why don't we all think about people that might be interested in serving on this committee and bring up a slate of names that would serve on the committee that Councilman Griffin just mentioned, and let's get them to start sitting down and planning what will happen on when and so forth, and get a group involved in that. So at the next work session, Ms. Bernice, if you would, remind us to try to, each council will come up with a person or two that will serve on this committee, and we'll get this project going, because I too would like to see it be a big thing. And I think that's a good that you brought that up. Anything else? I do like folks to stand up, speak up, and shut up. Councilman Johnson, the move that we adjourn, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bloodworth, all in favor say aye.
Let me tell you something funny, I thought about this, I can't.